What's up, my people?
What's going on? What's going on?
Fire Session Podcast. Y'all already know what time it is. I got my guy with me, the man, the brand, Benji Banks, sipping on his wine as usual.
Got to, man. I mean, after a long day of work, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? After
yeah.
after a long day of trying to make my work pay, need a
And
couple sips. You know what I'm
we
talking
also
about?
got a special guest today with us, brother Jamal Jones, coming to drop some knowledge on us about some finance, some life insurance, and all kind of stuff. The man is a jack of all trades. Y'all gonna get to know him, and y'all gonna get this information as well. So y'all already know what time it is.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So okay, y'all already know every week we go around and we ask everybody how they week off to good start or whatever. Benji, what's up?
Man, it's been a straight week, man. I can't even lie. I'm still mad about selling Tesla. So that's been heavy. that's been heavy on my spirit. I can't even lie to y'all. I ain't gonna sit here and act like I wasn't mad. I sold Tesla, but I did it, and I'm mad about it. But we still gonna power through the week. So I mean, what we gonna do, man?
Yeah, I had a confession because I told Benji, when it peaked before, I got rid of it too. When it was around probably about 860, 870, I said, you know what? I think it's going to start going down. And it did. It went down to like 6 almost or something like that. So I was like, cool. But then I had my settings set from before I bought Tesla stock. And it started pinging last, I think it was last Friday. I was like, wait. Don't tell me it's gone up. And I done missed it and it's gone up. And I'm like,
It's at $1,000 right now. Grand plus.
Yeah.
It's scheduled to go to 1,200, probably over that.
man.
But
Hey,
I'm singing
I
the
didn't sell
blues.
any of my other stock though, so I'm good. But that one, I might have to buy back into it. Like I told Benji, it would be nice to get into it right now before it gets to 12. Quick flip, make a couple of extra $100 off of it.
Right.
We'll see what's going on.
Yes,
My man
sir.
Jamal, how your week off? To a good start?
It's good, man. It's good. My career started with enterprise. So when I heard about Hertz buying 100,000 Teslas, and that's what really shot the stock up, I was a bit surprised. Because the last news that you really heard from Hertz in the news was really about them bankrupt, right? And, but bankruptcy today don't mean nothing. It's just wiping out your debt and starting all over. So clearly it's working, right? You got Tom Brady commercials, and now you got $100,000 or 100,000 Teslas announcement. So, but yeah, man, the week has been good. I got the Laker game on in the background, so I'm a huge Laker fan, right? So I was born in Long Beach and moved out here, so it's where my heart is, man.
Okay. Hold on. So now we're talking about the Lakers. So let's go ahead and get your opinion because on here we talk about everything on this show.
Okay.
We talk about everything. So let's go ahead and get your opinion on what your Lakers are going to look like this year because they started off a little strugglers, which is kind of expected when you have a bunch of new players and you put them together.
New players, yeah.
Yep, they're trying to gain the chemistry. You got a little fighting here and there, so that's to be expected when you put new personalities together.
Well, I don't think it's a new personality. I think it's the old Dwight, which is part of the issue. So you remember, when Dwight was with Washington and Charlotte, a lot of players, he was there a year and a half a year, and then he wasn't getting any contract offers because of his locker room issues.
Right.
Lakers signed him 2019, 2020 with a non-guarantee, and he came in there humble.
Yeah.
He came in there real humble. Now he getting these guaranteed contracts. Philly will say, oh, yeah, he played good in LA. We'll take him. And then Lakers say, you know what? You was balling in Philly. You was balling last year. Come on back. And a lot of that humbleness left, and you get that same Dwight in the locker room. And then you notice after that fight, he did not get back in the game.
He didn't.
He did not get back in the game. And I guarantee there's 2 conversations that Frank Vogel had within the last week. Dwight Howard, get your ish together because we're not having that. We'll cut you. We only paying you $7-8 million. That's nothing. And Rajon Rondo sitting on the sideline with the camera. I don't know if y'all saw that. If y'all watched any of the game.
Yeah, I did.
Really?
I didn't see
It's a
that.
lot of sideshow stuff going
Yeah.
on in
And,
LA.
Well, I mean,
and
it
Rodgers
is.
Gonna get
didn't
it
play
cleaned
at
up.
all. He didn't play at all. When he started, when they started tip off, and he's sitting there with the camera, sitting on the sideline. Yeah, he did not get in the game. So
Oh
I'm
man.
sure they've had those conversations. And LeBron is out tonight with an ankle.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. I thought he was going to be out as well with the ankle injury, but you also know that hey, when you 19, 20 years into the league, you got to be careful with your body, with
You
the
got it.
thing. He ain't indestructible no more.
Right.
And me and Benji also had this conversation before the season when they were posting that LeBron James was, how many points he was away from, taking over
Kareem.
the whole title from Kareem. And I told Benji that's a tall task. They making it seem as if like he could do it in one season, but I'm like, really, he gonna need two, maybe three,
Right.
because he's not scoring 25, 30 points a game no more like we've been seeing the past few games. He might have 18, 19. He's not going to be the triple double guy. That's Russ now. You
Yeah.
got a guy with
It
Russ.
should be Russ now. But
Well,
I
yeah.
mean,
You're going to have Russ is going to be ball dominant. Watch what I tell you.
Tonight he's
Because
got to be.
yeah.
he gonna have to cut. They're gonna have to make a decision and bring that boy off the bench. He gonna have to run the sixth. Start him, but make sure he's running the second unit. So we'll see. We'll see.
And what's going to happen is likely by the trade deadline, we'll probably end up somewhere between 6th and 8th seed, right? Because like I said, it's going to take that chemistry to build up. And we're going to trade half the team by the trade deadline.
I would agree.
We're going to trade half the team by the trade deadline.
LeBron ain't putting up with none of that.
Everybody we got is on a 1-year contract. I think the only one, I don't even know how much Russ got left on his contract, but
I think 2 years, but his is like 40-something million.
right, we paying him 40 mil. So
Yeah,
he ain't going nowhere.
LeBron's window is small, so he don't have time to mess around.
Right,
Exactly.
If you're not shooting at the 40% 3 mark, which is everyone we recruited, and you're not hitting that, that's it. You gone.
Got to go.
That's your only thing on the resume that you got to keep doing. Everything else is up to AD and Russ, but anyway, I can go on and on about that, man. So,
I love to see Laker fans trembling. It's a beautiful.
If we stay healthy, it's a wrap. I just don't think we can stay healthy.
I actually agree with that.
And you know what? The way y'all's roster is composed, that's gonna be hard because y'all got a lot of older players, a lot of vets. So that's a major concern, the health of those guys. So I mean, as a basketball fan, you want to see them be healthy. You want to see them, end up in the championship against another good team from the East, whether that be the Bucks or whether that be, the Nets. You really want to see the Nets. That's what everybody wants to see.
That's what everybody wants to see.
They ain't making it without Kyrie.
Oh,
but we'll see. We'll see what happens with the saga of Kyrie as well. But we'll hop right on into the interview. First of all, what we like to do is, because the audience doesn't know you, we want to get to know you and who you are before we ask you a ton of questions. If y'all missed the first few, almost 10 minutes of the interview, he already came in and gave us information on stocks that we didn't know, because talking about, saying companies acquiring other companies and then selling them, 1,000 Teslas and all this information, like he already on another level with that.
Right.
So let's hear about your background. Tell us where you're from, what college you went to, what your major was, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so I represent the Riverside is where I grew up. I went to King High, went to Cal State San Bernardino. I say King High because most people know that's where Kawhi went.
That's where Kawhi went. Yes.
Kawhi Leonard went.
Yes.
What do you do? He's a Clipper. I don't care. All right. But I went to Cal State San Bernardino. I actually majored in communications. Right. Part of the dreams and the goals and desires growing up was radio, media, TV, and so forth. And then interesting story, man, I started working for a company called Releve Entertainment. And I did my internships there, driving to Porter Ranch for about a year and a half. Didn't work out the way I wanted. Ended up just grabbing a job at Enterprise. Okay. Right. One of my best friend, he was like, yeah, man, I've been dating this girl. She's a branch manager at Enterprise. You just need a degree and you can get a good job, starting off. And I remember it was 2012, man, my first job at Enterprise. Guaranteed salary was $32,000, and I was like, whew, balling, right?
Right. Until you get in there, right?
Right. So 10-hour work days, and then some of the politics within the rental. There was an opportunity for me to move over to the car sales side. So really, the plan moving into the car sales side was just to go over there, because when they put you in car sales, they give you a 6-month guarantee. They say, look, we know it's a learning curve. Here's 6 months of guaranteed pay. And typically when people go into car sales, that's really just kind of their way to move out of rental, because they're ready to quit. And they're like, okay, 6 months of guaranteed pay. It gives me 6 months to find a job. My very first month in car sales, when I sold 8 cars. My second month, I sold 10 cars. My third month, I sold 12 cars. And then I fell in love with it.
Right.
And it was like, how did this happen? My dad grew up as selling cars his entire life. To this day, 67 years old, still does it. Just a passion. So I never thought I'd really follow in his footsteps. But then really is where who I am today really started from the car sales, because I got promoted. I was selling a bunch of cars, helping people out, getting cars, and I got into the finance office. Then when I got to the finance office was really where the passion grew. And that's where I am today, because I was running 200 credit applications a day.
Wow.
Easy. Or not a day, a month, right? My dealership that I managed, it was an Enterprise Car Sales in Rialto, and we were selling about 100, 150 cars a month. And if you're in Rialto, you got black and brown people, right?
Yeah. You got to be able to sell, right?
So, it was a pleasure, because when I got there, it was basically all white people.
Right.
By the time I got into management, we had a team of 12, and 10 of the 12 were black, right? And not only that, but we were the #1 enterprise car sales in the nation.
Wow.
Gross profit, revenue, sales. I mean, we were just killing it.
Would you say is it natural or communication wise, or did the college help you with your communication skills to make, when you got to that space of selling cars, make it a lot easier? Or was it some type of experience you gained maybe from watching dad or something like that helped you?
It was, to be honest, college had nothing to do with it. College just got me in the door. College was just a piece of paperwork that said, okay, you showed some consistency to stick through college. Okay, we'll give you a job.
Right.
The personality that I get from my dad, I am really my dad's son. I mean, my dad is very outspoken, very charismatic, and that's me. And then on top of some really solid training, the person who trained me, his name is Sasha Toops, really solid dude. I mean, just would really sit me down. And where my office was at, when I was selling cars, his office was directly behind me. So he was hearing everything I was saying and doing over the phone when customers were in my office. And I mean, he would just coach me at every moment that he had. And then my sales skills just, at that point, it just became natural. So once you blend that natural personality with some training, with some really efficient training, it was a wrap. So, once I got into that finance office and I'm looking at these credit scores, and please excuse me, guys, my 4-year-old daughter
is all right.
Out of the room.
All right.
Go back in the room.
Hey, just for the record,
right?
Each of us have a daughter.
Yes.
So we totally understand. So as we're on this, like, we actually want people to see this. We got a young brother, man, taking care of his business. So we salute that. Some of us are a little bit further ahead than others are. Right. But we've had our experiences, so we dig it. Sure.
Let's do the same interview in 3 years and see how it goes. Sit your butt down.
Right.
It's gonna be a lot smoother, right?
Right.
But yeah, man, that's really where the passion came in. So, we get a bunch of black and brown people come in, sit in the office, and I'm looking at their credit score, and it's like, okay, you're a 650 credit score. It's not bad. That's considered fair.
Right.
You're maxed out on a $300 credit card, and you're maxed out on a $500 credit card,
Okay.
and you got $2,000 down. Zero education when it comes to credit.
Right.
And really, all you need to do is take 1,000 of that and pay off your credit cards. Come in, and that's the difference between a 19% and a 3%.
Right.
Right. So
that minimal amount matters, right? That
minimal
it
amount.
seems so minuscule, but that minimal amount matters when it comes to credit, right?
Right.
But I think that's dope. The fact that you were pointing that out to them, or you were helping them, because a lot of people just want to make a sale. They're not
Right.
interested in educating you along the way to help you. But I think that's dope, because if you can help me and you give me some good information when I leave, or even if I don't have a car, when I get straight, I'm gonna come back because you gave me some good game. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna come.
And the thing about that was, I had one particular situation where I told them, I said, listen, I'm about to get all in your business right now. Pull up your credit card statement, right? I need to find out when exactly does your statement refresh. We were like 2 days away from their statement refresh. And I'm like, take 200 of that, go pay off the credit card, come back in 2 days. I promise you, I'm gonna save you about $10,000.
Right.
Just do it. Just making that small difference of just a little bit of education. Right. And so that really birthed Saving a Legacy, which is the company that I have. Okay.
Right.
So Saving a Legacy is credit management, life insurance, and mortgage and loan specialist. So my brother, he does that side of it. So he's licensed to do mortgage loans and so forth like that. And,
right.
And Saving a Legacy is really exactly what we want it to be. It's creating legacy for you and your family, right? So I've got this 4-year-old daughter who I absolutely adore,
right.
And that's part of the passion that comes along with that as well. We, within the Black community, the last statistic I heard was for 2020, we're about 60% covered, right. Which means that there's 40% of us, of our friends and family, that do not have any type of life insurance. Right.
Yeah, we definitely need to talk about that.
Now, how does that, when it comes to, and gosh, man, there's going to be so much to unpack in this conversation. I pray everybody that's listening on this, man, grasp something great from this. But let's kind of dive. I know we were kind of going into the life insurance part. I had a question in terms of for the credit aspect. Okay. So when you are actually helping people with their credit, trying to get a car, how big is it for you to actually be like, hey, you know what? I need your score to be at 700 if you pay off this, compared to just making a sale. Because most, as Ken said, most people just want to make that sale. So they want the lowest score possible. So what made you be like, you know what? Hey, let's get this $200 off of you, $1,000 off of you. What made you go into that aspect?
You know what? It's interesting is Enterprise actually, in a way, they really taught me that. And my dad, like I said, my dad, he's a broker. So if you need a car, you go to my dad, because my dad, he's got the connections, 35 years in the auto industry, right, to make sure that you get a good deal, right? And my dad always uses the term, don't get buried, right? They're going to take you to Forest Lawn and bury you, right? And basically that's the whole analogy of you buying a car at a bad price with a bad interest rate. You make payments on time. A year from now, you look at your payments and how much you owe, and it's like, you bought the car for 25 and now you still owe 24. Like, wait, this don't make sense, right? And that's because
you're driving around in a 2008 Ford Fusion and paying $800 a month for the car note.
You buried.
Like, how is that even? How is that even
buried,
possible?
Right? So
buried.
And 100% of my dad's business is customer referral. And when I mean 100%, 35 years, never had a website. Man only got business cards. Still does it the old school way. And that's because people can buy a car with him. He gets such a good deal. In 3 years, they're like, hey, I want a new car. They go in, trade it in, because they're not buried. Right? So that whole mentality of just really taking care of the customer, treating them right, it really carried over to my whole mentality, because my dad could have really done the same thing and said, okay, yeah, let's go get you a car, pay me my $775 fee for helping you, and be on the way. right? But 2 years from now, they're not calling him back, and they're not sending their cousins, aunties, uncles, and so forth. My dad, he's got customers from '86 calling him.
Wow,
Hey,
that's
you still
awesome.
sell cars? Yeah, I still sell cars. Yeah, what's up? What you need? And get some done.
And when you were
So,
talking about buried, that put me in mind of when people are talking about, especially with car notes and stuff like that, they say they're upside down in a car note. Can you address that? Can you kind of explain to people what that means? Because I'm pretty sure some of y'all have been to some place before and they done told you you're upside down, and you're like, what does that mean? So
yep,
can you break that
yeah,
down for
and that's the same terminology. Buried, upside down, negative equity. Typically, you bought the car um, above market value, right?
Right.
You got sold, and it goes back to the same terminology my dad says. Is they're gonna take you to Hawaii, right? One sale, and that dealership got enough money and profit just to go to Hawaii on your one sale, right? And if you buy a car at a good price and you get a good interest rate, you don't get all of the extra fluff on that, right? You can negotiate your warranty. Most people don't know that. You can
Wow.
haggle in some cases your interest rate, right? There's a lot of stuff the dealers say are mandatory that you have to get as far as like an anti-theft system or low jack and stuff. And it's not. It's actually against the law. And right now, where the market is at because of the pandemic and the chip shortage,
Everything is up.
everything is up. I mean, dealers right now are selling their cars 5,000, 6,000 over book.
Right.
So you're what you're going to see by the year 25, 26 is you're going to see another cash for clunkers type of program, right?
Right.
Because these customers are so buried in their car. They're buying these cars so much overbooked that when they're ready to trade that car in, their dealers are going to be like, okay, you owe 18,000, your car's worth 7.
Right.
Right. Wow. Okay, so I'm in that much negative equity. How do I get into a new car? Well, you need that amount of money down.
Need that amount down.
So
So then
you
it
got
speaks to your credit score also, right? In terms of being able to get a low APR.
interest rate
Um,
is key. Interest rate is king. That's
interest
the
rate is
term
king.
that we
Right.
use.
Right.
Interest rate is king. Say hi.
Hi.
Okay.
Hi.
You let Daddy keep working?
Yeah.
Okay. You gonna go sit on the
You handled that like a champ. I like that. I like that. That's good.
So yeah,
So the interest rate is attached to the credit score, right? So if I come in with a 650, I'm getting
if you're a 650, now see this is the lovely part about really knowing finance. You can tell me your credit score, and I can tell you what range your interest rate is going to be off top. 650, you're going to come in anywhere between 8 and 14%.
right.
If you 700, depending on if you are a heavy 700, so a heavy 700 is like you've got history behind it, 10 years with the same credit card. You've got a decent credit line, maybe 15, 20, $30,000 credit line available, right? Your utilization. So you're not using any of that credit that you have available. That's a heavy 700 plus. That's all day, 1 to 3%, right? And then
Right.
if you buy brand new, if they have the special finance terms, you can qualify for the 0%, right? But then you have the shallow 700. That's like 18 years old. You just started a credit. All you got is a $200 credit card, right?
Right.
You're gonna get a 21% with the
Right.
700 credit score because
They
you
don't trust you that much, right?
exactly, and that's all credit is. Credit is what is your credibility? What is
Right.
your credibility to pay me back? Right.
And let me ask you a quick question while we're talking about that with with the percentage rate and the down payment and things of that nature. Is it more advantageous for somebody, say for instance, if they have cash on hand and they want to buy a car and maybe the car is 25,000 in that range, and they come to a dealership, they want a certain car, but they have a check. They want to buy the car cash versus financing the car. So does that hold more power to come in and negotiate and say better, get a better deal, better sale price?
No, that's an old school 70s, 80s type of theme where they feel, oh, if I come in with cash, can you help me out? What can you
Right.
do? Right.
Right.
And really, it's nothing, because dealers today, it's very simple, right? Dealers go in, they go to the auction or wherever they get their wholesale from, and this is particularly on used cars and even new cars. There is a particular line that they cannot go below as far as what their gross profit is, right? There's a net profit that they have to have, that they have to achieve on that car. So if you come in and say, "Hey, I've got cash. Can you take off $1,000?" Especially today, 99% of dealers do no haggle pricing, right? Because they want to get away from that whole cowboy western type of feel where, show me how much you can pay, and then no, I can only do this, right? It's just overall, it's a bad customer service experience. So now these dealers say, look, we're going to give you the best price up front, which, by the way, if you go and buy a car, you're not getting the best price right now. The market is just too high.
Everything is inflated, and
everything is inflated, and it's anticipated to go all the way into 2022. Buy a car now if you need it, right? You got a total loss on the vehicle. You're spending too much money on repairs. Outside of that, if you just feel like, I just want to upgrade, no, you're really going to throw away $5,000-$6,000.
So what about in Ken's scenario where you do have $25,000 cash, but you finance the car, and then you take that cash or a lump sum of that cash after you financed and put $10,000, $15,000 on the car? Is that a smart move to of course, saying, I'm sure you'll get some rapport with the dealership, but talk to us about if that's a good idea or not.
Well, there's obviously a few benefits to that, right? So it's you're gonna finance a small amount. So let's say you've got all the money to pay cash, and you say, you know what? Okay, so $25,000 car, I'm gonna put 15 down, right? Right now you're financing $10,000. You spread that out over 60 months. Your payment's gonna be probably about $200, right?
Right.
And you still have the extra money to go and pay it off,
right?
Even with bad credit, let's say you're a 520 credit score, and you've got enough money to pay cash, and now you say, okay, I want to kind of boost up my credit, and you put more than half down, you'll get approved.
Right.
You will get approved, right?
No matter your score.
Oh no, you putting 50, 60% down all day, you're going to get approved, right? Your interest rate may not be great, but what you do, and whether you got good credit or bad credit, you need to make payments for 6 months. 6 months is the number that banks and credit consumers, anybody that's going to evaluate your credit in the future, they look at that number. 6 months of stable payments. So, because say you say, okay, I'm gonna just finance one or finance half of it, and then you only made 2 payments. It's gonna show up on your credit report with 2 payments, but the banks in the future aren't gonna look at that and say, okay, well, he really managed the money. To them, that they're gonna say, oh, he didn't want to manage the money, so he just paid it off.
So then that would make you like less be able to get less on another. Okay, totally understand.
It's a very thin line between get credit, but don't get too much. Make your payments, but if you don't make enough payments and show that you can actually manage money, then banks are gonna say they didn't really want to make payments, so they just paid it off, which is great, but I can't really determine that to determine their credibility for a future payment.
Right.
So it's more important for them to see the payments being made and keep your cash on hand and just make those payments, because that's what really boosts your credit score.
Yeah, and you can still do that and reduce the rate. So let's say, okay, now your payment's $200. Okay, just pay $300, right? Because you're still knocking down that principal of that interest. And then once you hit month 6, boom, pay it off. Now you got stability of making payments on time. Now you've got less interest that you paid for, especially if you have bad credit. Now, if you have good credit, then okay, you probably paid on $10,000 at 3-4%. You probably paid $300-$400, if that, total in interest, right? Which compared to $10,000 is nothing. You probably wouldn't even notice that the car was 10,000 or 10,300. So it's no big deal, right? And the reality with credit is you pay for credit.
Right.
You're gonna have
Pay
to
for
pay
what the
something.
bank is giving you, right?
So
Okay,
So talk to us about these credit repair companies because they are in abundance out there. They are, man, everywhere you look, you're seeing a credit repair company, like people who have loads of debt, have not paid off their stuff, and they just think, hey, if I go in and use this credit repair company, that all is going to be well, all is going to be straight. I'm skeptical. I learned my lesson like 4 or 5 years ago when I tried to use one and I got tired of it. And I was like, I'm just going to pay let me just handle my business. So talk to us a little bit
so
about that aspect.
I was exposed to the credit repair, man. I'll never forget the very first time I saw it. Sorry. Go sit down. Go sit
It's all
down.
right. The brother's got a daughter. It's all right. We love it. We love it.
All I heard about 30 seconds ago was just water being poured on the floor. And now I see her with paper towels in her hand. So we're going to find out what's going on in the kitchen.
Oh, man. I love it. She's trying to clean it up. She's trying to clean it up. It's all right.
She's up right now. So, but yeah, the credit repair man, my first experience with the credit repair man. Yes, baby. Okay, go sit down, please. Sorry, hold on. Here.
I love it, man. I love it.
The wife's supposed to be here right now. I haven't know this.
It's okay. We got the brother handling this business here on the podcast. See, this is dope right here though, because I told Ken we want to highlight. We want to put brothers in these spotlights and say, hey, you know what, brothers is handling their business, because we got folk out there saying brothers ain't handling their business, and I beg to differ.
So I do my saving a legacy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bass player. I play at 2 different churches every Sunday morning. I'm the regional director for Carfax, the data company, and I'm a daddy. So, yeah, I stay busy.
Right.
I stay busy. So, but back to your question in the credit repair. Sorry for that. Don't do it. Don't.
Say that again. Say that again.
So, because this is what happens, right? The credit repair, they come in. They're going to pull up your credit application. They're going to see all of your default accounts, collections, all of that, right? Everything that you said you was going to pay and you didn't pay, right?
Right.
And they're going to send out a letter to the credit company, Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, and they're going to say, this is not a validated credit, blah, 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 blah. And then they do their research. They then contact the company. And the company then has so many days to get back to them and say, actually, this is a true debt. Here's the proof of the debt. Once they show that, then there's nothing you can do. So the question that I always ask, because the most common things that you see in collections are utility bills, right? Cable, electric, cell phone. Cell phone is the number one. I can't understand it, right? T-Mobile, right? You went 4 months without paying T-Mobile, and now you got $800 in collections. T-Mobile is likely going to say, yeah, we got proof of that. Okay. Right. T-Mobile is not a small mom and pop company that just don't keep the data on top. I'm sorry. Right. Sarai, go in the room. It's Mimi. Okay. Hi, Mimi. She's on the phone with Grandma. Go in the room. She just called Grandma all by herself right now.
Smart girl. She like,
yeah, she just called Grandma. So they're going to dispute it. What it's going to show on the credit report, and this is what creditors see. This is what I would see. Is it's going to show, okay, T-Mobile, $800 dispute, right? And then it's going to show under that Time Warner Cable, $400 dispute, credit card, Wells Fargo dispute, right? All of that stuff. So the question, as someone who's trying to lend you money, is would you give them money again if all they've done is say, nah, you didn't really give me that?
Right. Logical question. Answer is no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't trust you at that point.
Benji, if you loan Ken $1,000 And then Ken's like, cool, I'm gonna pay you back $30 every month. Did it for 2 months and then just stopped paying you. And then he's like, I'm gonna send a letter in and say, yes, you never really gave me that money. Would you give him money again?
Wow.
No. That's exactly what credit repair is, right?
Okay.
So all it does is it's gonna show a dispute, right? And it's just it is going to lose your credibility because
Right.
you're trying to steal money from an agreement that you made. And
Right.
typically, if it's on your credit report, you signed a contract.
Yes.
In some form or fashion, whether it be digital or in person, you signed some type of contract that said this is what I agree to pay on a monthly basis, whether that's a T-Mobile, a credit card, and you agreed to if there's an interest rate, right, on most credit cards or personal loans. So you
Right.
can't just think, oh, I'm gonna just go and dispute that and walk away.
And walk away, basically
And-
wipe it out and
Right,
not
and
look
wipe it out and be good. And the second warning sign to you is when did all of a sudden your cousin, who ain't never held a real job, become a credit repairman? Like
that's a lift your hands moment right there, right? We need to put that
you know he can't keep a job. You know that he ain't got no real credibility. You know his credit messed up, and now he a credit repairman, and you gonna pay him $299,
to wipe out your whole credit report.
and then all it does is make it worse.
Because once you, if I understand it correctly, once you dispute it, does it open it up again? So if you dispute it and it's let's say it's it's you dispute it but it's not credible, doesn't it open it up again for another 7 years, or
No,
how does that work?
No, it's 7 years regardless, right? So if you're in collections, it's gonna fall off after 7 years regardless. Where you need to be knowledgeable in that 7 years is if you're at year 6, at that point you only got 6 years of collections, you might as well not pay nothing. Right. Just let it fall off after year 7. Okay. So, my wife was a perfect example when we first started dating. She was a 520 credit score. And I was like, oh, no. With me, dude, come on, boo. With me, you got to be in the 700s. I looked at one of her credit cards she had got opened up when she was 18 years old, right? And we were 24, right? So we're 6 years in. I was like, I ain't paying that. $500. And by the time we was married, that credit card had fell off. She was back in the 700s.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just about really being knowledgeable and knowing that type of stuff. And I saved $500. If I would have paid the $500 of the credit card that she let go bad, it would have showed paid, and then it also would have showed that would have stayed on her credit forever. It would have showed settled and then paid.
So that's a good tip. That's a good tip. I think let's say that one again. That's a good tip. I think a lot of people need to hear that again.
Yeah, because if you look at your credit report, anything that you've ever paid off will always be there. It will always show as paid, right? Whereas the collections is and the derogatory stuff is your opportunity. The government, Experian, whoever you want to call it, they understand. Okay, some people need a new start, so let's take that off. Let's remove that, and let's see if we can help them out by removing that collections. So
that's dope.
Yeah.
Hey, I hope y'all got all that credit info right there. That's some valuable information for your car, man. For your credit repair, all of that type of stuff. I think I just heard, man, pay your bills, man.
Hey, that's what I was gonna say. There's a meme floating around that says, "How can I get a credit boost?" And the meme at the bottom said, "Pay them people." That's how you get credit. Pay them people.
Pay the bills. Yeah.
Pay your bills, man.
The credit repair.
We're here to help y'all pay your bills, man.
No, we're not. Don't say that, Ben. Hold on, let's go.
Hold on. We're here to tell y'all how to help you pay your bills. There you go.
Hold on. Let's clarify. Benji might help you pay your bills. I'm not. We're trying to give you information on good credit, make your credit better, and give you some information. Benji can help you pay your bills if he wants to. That's not for me.
Only when I find a wife will I pay her bills. That's it.
Right. So one of my friends from high school, he's the VP of the largest black mortgage-owned company in the nation. Right. And I wish I could, like, if there was a button to just pull him on here, he always talks about what credit repair does, right? I mean, the largest
Shoot
black-owned
us his
mortgage.
info. Shoot us his info. Sorry to cut you off. Shoot us his info. We'd love to have him on for
You might
season
know
4.
him, Jamie Jokes.
I probably do know him. I'm terrible with names, but I'm sure I do.
So, and he always talks about we would, do podcasts and, stuff like this and really talk about the black community and really kind of eliminating that whole idea of credit repair because it will stop you. They will not fund you for a house. You cannot get a loan when you got credit repair on that. You won't.
Wow.
You will not. That's the first thing.
I don't think a lot of people knew that. I don't think a lot of people knew that because
they don't, and they just throw those credit repair things out there like it's like the new thing. Everybody's trying, and I'm like, if you've been through your experience trying to use those things before, you would use it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't know anything about it. I have never had to use it or had the need to use it. But for people out there, I'm telling you, I've seen people doing it. I've seen people talking about it, and I'm like, you might need to do your research on that, and especially with each company that you're dealing with. And now what you're saying is basically credit repair as a whole is kind of bad.
It's kind of bad.
I don't want to knock nobody hustle, but I'm just saying, like it's not looking like it's
the truth will always knock a hustle. That's for sure.
I don't want to knock nobody's hustle either, but part of the thing is really just being honest with the people. Now, if you're honest with the people and you tell the people, you go through each credit line and say, okay, is this a legitimate credit line? I don't know where that T-Mobile bill is from, and you really don't, then you got a real right to dispute it because that's all they're doing, right? You're paying a lot of people to do what one you can already do yourself, right? And then, and there's nothing wrong with that because I pay a lot of people to do stuff that I can do myself, right? I don't pay, right? I pay somebody to come in and clean my house. I could do it myself, but it's a convenience factor, right? So there's nothing wrong with doing that. Just make sure that the person, you as the person who's the credit repair person, is being honest with them, right?
Right.
You let them know, okay, well, this ain't gonna get taken off, right? Or we could probably really get this taken off, and actually help the people, right? And if you do it the right way, then you could actually see an establishment, a business, really come into fruition, and people can really make a living doing something like that. So.
That's dope, man. That's dope.
Yeah, that's great credit information. If y'all didn't, catch it, y'all already know y'all can go to the page and, see the video again. It'll be re-aired as well. But we're going to shift a little bit from the credit part because he also has information about life insurance. And I definitely wanted to get to that because too many of us black folks don't have life insurance. I ain't gonna say us. I'm gonna say black folks because I got life insurance. I got a lot of it.
I do too.
I got multiple policies,
Yeah,
and
me too.
there's different types of life insurances that we want to just give y'all information on as well. Because I'm gonna tell you straight up, I'm tired of seeing GoFundMe's for our people all over the place because we don't have a life insurance policy. So
and it's not expensive.
And that's what I was gonna say. It's not expensive, and so let's talk about that. First of all, to start off with the life insurance, but there's two different types, right?
There's there's more than two. You've got your standard term, right?
Okay.
Which is what most people get. That's usually the cheapest option. You've got your whole life, right? Which is typically for 40 and over. And then you've got like a universal life, right? You've got an IUL index type of policy. So those are really kind of the three main type of policies. Daddy's on the podcast right now, and she just called you. Yeah, Daddy's on the podcast. Okay, go take the phone and go sit up.
Soraya, she like whatever. This is my attention.
She just called her other grandma right now, so
she all over. She got access to everybody. She ain't playing.
Lord, so with I'm 34 years old. Typically within my age range, people that I'm talking to, 34 to 40, I'm always going to recommend a term policy. Right, they're the cheapest. And at our age, with the way the economy is, there's a lot of people who really don't have a lot of spare money, right? So, one of the biggest things when it comes to that is they just feel like they can't afford it, right? I've helped people my age, 34 years old. I'm like, okay, you a business owner, entrepreneur, you're doing things on your own, you're grinding, you're still trying to get your money up. I get it. Um, can you afford $15 a month?
Right.
Like, seriously, I need you to afford $15 a month, because I bet if I went through your bank statement, I'm gonna find
You can
Starbucks
find
and Domino's
$15 easy.
Bucks
Right.
and everything
Easy.
else in there that says for your kids you can leave at $15 a month. At my age, at 34, 35, you can get a $30,000, $40,000 policy, right? Which, I mean, it's not, the whole idea of, $1 million life insurance policies, those are available. But really where we mess up is the idea that we have to get 100 million or $1 million policy. And
Right.
until we can afford that, then we might as well not get insurance. And that's the wrong mindset, right? Because at this age, that's what's going to happen. I mean, you see it every year on Facebook.
Yeah.
There's a unfortunate death, untimely death, and you're gonna drive by. Like, I live here in Moreno Valley. You're gonna drive on Day Street, and you got
Yeah.
people holding up the fire truck or boots, trying to get money, holding the signs saying this person died. Or you
Right.
see on Facebook, it's a link to a GoFundMe, and then the church doing a catfish dinner, right?
Right.
And it's like, imagine trying to raise money while grieving.
Yeah. That has to
That's
be. That's
that's
crazy.
hard, right? And then imagine living with the reality that you left your family
With
with
debt.
nothing. That's the part that, like, why I get so passionate about it, because it's like, we can go scripture on here, right?
Right.
You need to leave a legacy. God gave us instruction to leave a legacy, to leave an inheritance.
Right.
So,
A good man leaves an inheritance. Yes.
right. So it's like, how are we okay with the Gucci belt and the Jordan? If you owe a pair of Jordans, you better have life insurance.
If you own a pair of Jordans,
If you
better
own a
have
pair of
life
Jordans,
insurance.
you better have life insurance.
I love that.
And I think that's going to be my next post. Okay.
I'm still in it right now.
Right.
Yeah.
If you own a pair, because of what? How much is Jordans today?
Oh man, they range from
whether you buy them
200,
released
300
or whether
from.
you buy them aftermarket.
Well, that could go two ways. You better have it because that means you got money to have it, and you better have it because somebody might like them more than you and want to take them off of you.
Right.
So
Right.
we hope the latter doesn't happen. But
Right.
if you got enough money to buy your pair of Jordans, I tell people all the time, not only the life insurance, but I tell people, if you got enough money to buy multiple pairs of Jordans, you got enough money to invest in Nike stock. But we'll talk about that another time.
See, you're gonna open up a whole can of worms right there.
That's real. You made somebody else rich when you could have just made yourself rich. You got people with walls of Dunks and Air Max and Jordans and Yeezys and no life insurance. Just walls. I mean, just walls of shoes. And they even buy the sneaker holders, right? The clear plastic thing where you put it in. I mean, just priorities is wrong.
And see, now if you have those shoes, don't get me wrong, they have some value. Something happens to you, people can sell them, but they got to sell them to get the money to bury you now.
Right.
So unless they can do a lot sale and bury and sell them joints quick, they're not gonna have the money for the funeral, and then you're creating a bill, you're creating debt for your family, and you ain't even here no more, and you still causing problems.
And
right.
The easiest sale in the world is a grieving family.
The easiest sale. You know what's interesting, man? I thought about this. This is a crazy topic. Who would ever thought that death sells?
Oh man!
If you just look at it sells.
It's a booming business,
right?
And it's unfortunate because you're high in your emotion, right? So when you're trying to make those funeral arrangements, right, that loved one is saying, I want to give them the best funeral possible, right? And they giving you 4 or 5 different casket options and
Mm-hmm.
the limo driver and the facility and the flower arrangement, and you say, I want all of that. He deserves that, or she deserves that. And now you got a $12,000 bill, $15,000 and $20,000 bill that you say, oh, I'm gonna just pay it off, right? Because you're caught up in that moment, but you don't think about how you're gonna feel a year from now. Then you don't also think about, as the person, the type of resentment you could leave off. Not only did you, whether you died from an accident or doing something stupid, now that person's grieving, and now you're leaving them with just dead. So it's like it's just bad on both ways, because a year from now they mad and they by themselves. You don't have that family support, and then it just overall, that's why I always press, I always push life insurance. It's so important to legacy, especially if you have kids,
Right.
right? God forbid, right? I've got the most awesome, beautiful 4-year-old daughter. If something happens to her, she is set,
Right. That's
right?
dope.
And
That's
I
dope.
think about, growing up in Riverside, where the demographic is everything, right? I went to King High, it was 20% black people, and then white and Asian. So, you saw the people struggling, but you also saw the people that was driving to high school in H3 Hummers. You
Right.
know, at that time that was the popular car. So,
Right.
I don't want Sarai to ever be in that position where she can't get new school clothes, right? Or if she wants to get her hair done for prom, um, you know, she got to go ask auntie somebody, or
To help
it's
her.
like, no, it's all in house, it's all taken care of. If she want to play on the sports team, it's taken care of. I don't have to make up an excuse as to why she can't play on the sports team, because I really can't afford it, right?
Right.
If I'm not here, mommy can take care of all of that. Mommy will have the house, mommy will have the cars paid off, and mommy will have a pretty decent bank account at that
Right.
point,
And you know
right?
what's crazy? I was talking to one of my coworkers, and is a white gentleman, and he works where we work, but his family has a lot of money. So we were talking one day, and he was telling me how they have money, right? So it's crazy. His great great grandfather passed away, had $1 million life insurance policy back in the day, right? So they cashed in on that policy, and they opened a business. So that business that they opened from him passing away developed into a family business, which made multiple people wealthy. So we talking about generational wealth from that one
Right.
person
Right.
dying, and it just branched out.
That's
Now they
right.
have a family business that keeps building and keeps making money and keeps making other people in the family millionaires off of that one person passing away.
That's right.
So,
Leaving
like,
that wealth.
yeah, I've heard somebody say on a podcast, I forget which, I think it was Earn Your Leisure. The guy was saying, um, your family should benefit from your death. You know what I'm saying? It's a sad, morbid thought, but
Right.
if you pass away, they should be better off, you know what I'm saying, when you leave here than when you were here.
Yep.
I
And
agree.
that's the reality. And the thing about it is, if you get it at a decent age, you're not paying a lot of money.
Nah.
You're not paying a lot of money at all, And then that goes into like a whole life, where you have a lot of people, unfortunately, who waited until they're 50, 60, 70 years old. They've made it their whole life, got to that point, then they say, oh, you know what? Yeah, I got this disease, I'm diabetic, I got high blood pressure, I got to take this medication. Then I say, okay, I want to get on some type of policy where you can get a term policy, for $250,000, for 30, 40 bucks, right? Whereas you get a whole life policy, whole life. So term policy is exactly what it says it does. It covers you for a
Term.
term,
Yeah, short term.
uh, right? And most terms are, you can usually get a 15, 20, or a 30-year term, right? Those are your options. Then you have a whole life policy, which does exactly that. It covers you for your whole life, right? Your whole life policies are way more expensive, because the insurance company, they know they're going to pay out, right?
Hmm.
Whereas with the term policy, the payout on the term policy is probably like 2%, right?
Hmm.
And that's people who actually have life insurance who die within that term, right? the good thing about a solid term policy is they're uh, convertible policies, which means you can turn that term into a whole life.
Mm.
Mm.
So if you're young, you got a term policy, right? You need a lot of money to cover family expenses, right?
Right.
You're really still establishing, you don't have a lot of money in the 401k and the pension saved up. So you need to leave a bigger legacy. Whereas now you're older, your kids are established, the mortgage is almost paid off or already paid off. You may not need as much to
Right.
leave as much of a legacy, right? Depending on what your budget is. But we do have a lot of people who just don't have anything. They'll get a whole life policy, a $10,000 policy for a whole life at like 60 years old is like 60, $70 a month.
Why do you think we overall don't get life insurance? What would you say, in your experience, is the reason why people? I've heard that most people just don't want to have that conversation.
That's exactly what it is.
Things like wills, things of that nature. They just don't want to have those conversations. It's
Yep.
so scary. Is this, and that? Would you say that's it, or what would be your reasoning behind that?
It's those two things. It's they don't want to face the reality that one day they're going to die,
Right.
and they feel uh, other financial obligations are more important.
Right.
Right? It's a matter of value and trust.
Okay.
Right? When it comes to me selling it, right? And really, I've probably never sold life insurance. I've
Right.
only educated people on the
You
value.
just make your pitch, and
Right.
I've seen some of your pitches, man, and they are actually pretty dope.
So,
Very not super over the top. They're simplistic, but man, you always place the onus on the idea of you need to have this.
you need to have it, right? And it's unfortunate that a lot of people just they don't want to make it a priority, right? And typically, you know, we live in a society where the idea is pleasure first, and there's not a lot of delayed gratification, right? So if we got to make a budget cut, first thing that goes is life insurance because
Mm.
I worry about that later, right? I worry about dying later, right? Where they'd rather keep their cell phone bill on than the life insurance policy for us.
Instead of downgrading the cell phone and
It's
keeping the life
real.
insurance.
It's real. It's like
You don't really need the iPhone 13 at $1,500.
yeah, and I talk about like
So
a
Dad,
lot
don't
of
stop
people.
eating McDoubles every day.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's putting them in the grave
That's
faster.
the minute
Facts.
too. So
Facts.
is one of those things. It's like like your family member is going to realize that you died and left them with no policy when you left them with it was a nice two-piece gold chain, a few shoes. If you don't
Keepsakes, huh?
if you don't own a house, then you literally have left them with nothing,
Right.
unless you got like some jewelry assets and stuff like that. But more than
Beyond, yeah, some
so,
expensive stuff, yeah.
Most
yeah,
people got jewelry that ain't real, so that don't mean nothing. No way.
Exactly.
it's a matter
And
of
jewelry depreciates. The only
Right.
thing that actually appreciates more is an actual specific watch when you don't mess over it. A Rolex, a nice, like there's people don't know these things, but jewelry depreciates. Especially now, people are blinging out all of this stuff. Nobody wants that blinged out, so it depreciates it. So,
stand by.
yeah.
My wife is here. Hold on.
Wife is here. So she gonna get the baby, but we almost close to this thing. Ken, overall, man, what do you think so far, man, with this conversation that we
I
have?
mean, the information is definitely necessary, bro, because like I said, I am one of those people where I hear and see too many GoFundMe accounts and
Yeah.
things like that. And I crack jokes, and you know what
Right.
I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it really is a big problem. And I can't lie to you, when I see GoFundMe's, I just keep scrolling a lot of times because I'm like, I'm really just tired of seeing it.
Right.
And especially when it comes to somebody dying or somebody passing away. Now, in certain circumstances, when you look at a GoFundMe, you see an actual need, or you see
Right.
something that just happened that was just catastrophic, and you like,
Right.
okay, dang. But if I know you're trying to bury, Junior over here, but I know 2 weeks ago I saw Junior riding down the street in a Charger with some 24s on it and all this stuff. I'm like, I'm not really feeling like I need to give, what I'm saying, your family, $200 for Junior when Junior riding better than me.
That's real.
I
That's
mean,
the reality.
I'm not really feeling the need to help. So, I mean, people can look at it a few different ways,
Can you
but at
send
the end
me
of the
my
day,
cell phone, Shamaya?
it's very minimal. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like he's saying, like, $2-3 a month, you can start paying on a policy. That's one combo. That's less than a combo.
Yeah.
So, you
You
really
cut
don't have
out
an
some of that
excuse.
stuff.
Yeah, you really don't have an excuse for it. Especially people who are living these highly dangerous lifestyles. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You definitely need an insurance insurance
Oh yeah.
policy,
Get
man.
some. Get some.
You
I
know
agree.
what's interesting is if you have a felony, you can't get life insurance.
Wow.
If you have a felony,
You have a felony, you cannot get a term policy. You can
wow.
get a whole life policy, but you cannot get a term policy with a felony.
Hmm.
Explain to us why that. Explain to us why that is,
You're a high
or
risk.
what's the reasoning behind
High
it,
It's,
risk.
or
it's, it's the same as if you are a pilot, you have to get a certain type of life insurance. I
Mhm.
don't have any type of policy. I work with about 24 providers. I don't have any provider that can actually get a pilot license.
Wow,
You have
that's
to have,
interesting.
and typically it's through their job where they'll offer you, as a pilot to get a certain type of license. If you do skydiving as a career, I can't get you life insurance, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
too risky.
You're a high risk.
High risk.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pay that out, so I'm not gonna give you that.
Right.
So
All right. So talk to us a little bit briefly about the whole spectrum. Being a young man, being a young brother, which we salute you for that. The whole family structure, marriage structure, and putting it all together and saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to get life insurance. I'm going to make sure my credit's straight. I'm going to make sure all of these things. Talk to us a bit where that mindset comes from. When did that start? Where did you get that information
you
from?
know
What
what,
made
man?
you-
I think I really kind of get that from my mom.
Right.
My mom. You think I'm a jack of all trades? There's not a topic my mom does not know.
Wow. We need to
Like
have moms on. We need to have moms on.
she knows. Hold on one second, guys.
Yeah, moms knows a lot, so we might need to get moms on here because y'all already know we don't discriminate when it comes to guests. We just want people who can offer, what I'm saying, something to our lookers, to
Right.
our audience, what I'm saying, to our onlookers and audience, man. I mean, moms, and also you gotta look at it as moms got a lot of experience too. Moms is older, moms done lived a little bit, so she done seen some things. So that's why we have to listen to our mothers and fathers because they've been through a lot. They got a lot of information. But go ahead,
Yeah.
Jamal.
So I think that drive in making sure, my mom, she opened up a credit card when I was 18 years old. You
Mm,
know, and she was paying it off while I was at Sacramento State. I went to Sacramento State my first year of
Okay.
college, and then okay, yes, go sit down, please.
A brother with daughters, with a daughter.
And something where she was able to really kind of instill that value. She made
Right.
sure it was one of those things where, like, even my grandma, when my grandma passed, man, my grandma passed on like a Wednesday, man. We had the funeral like less than 7 days because she just had everything in order. I mean, she had
Wow.
it written out in the book as far as um, what her wishes were and all of that. So it was an easy transition. Um, and then just making sure that my family is taken care of,
Right.
and then that just comes with just being responsible, learning what uh, society needs today, understanding the economy, understanding where things can go bad, and making sure that my family is just going to be taken care of. So and obviously with my experience with the finance world, right?
Right.
And seeing where people have made mistakes just because of a lack of education, and people have um, needed to really just a little bit of education and how much it can make a difference in the world today, like especially for the Black community, and that's really where
Right.
a lot of my passion comes from. So
That's dope, man. That's dope, man. Like yeah, this man, we could talk for hours on this
hours,
one.
man.
This
Yeah,
is
when it
this
comes to
is
credit, when it comes to saving a legacy, I get caught now because I could go for hours when it comes to this. Absolutely.
this is
Okay.
awesome, man. This is
Yeah.
awesome.
So you gave out a lot of great information, a lot of great tips. But can you leave the audience with something, a parting thought of something they can take with them, or some motivational advice for them, or just anything you want to let them know before we leave?
Yeah, I think the whole idea of delayed gratification, it pays off in the end. You have to make the right sacrifices in order to leave your family with a legacy, right? So if you don't have life insurance, consider it, right? And I guarantee you there's some sort of life insurance that you can afford, right?
Right.
Um, and okay, hold on. And just making sure that you make the right choice when it comes to your priorities, right? Make your priorities your priorities.
That's dope.
Okay. And let the people know how to get in touch with you.
Yeah,
Uh,
man. I got my Instagram page is at Saving a Legacy. Just like that, at Saving a Legacy is how you can reach me. And then obviously on Facebook, you can reach me at Saving a Legacy as well. You can email me at ffljamal@gmail.com. Any one of those methods, we can start the conversation and we can get you going.
Okay, okay. So we appreciate you coming on and giving us this knowledge. You definitely said some things today that I didn't know for sure. I knew a lot of little stuff about the finance industry and life insurance, but you definitely gave me some nuggets that what I'm saying. And I hope the people were listening and gained that information because, as they always say, my people perish for lack of
Lack of
knowledge, and
knowledge.
that's true because we just don't know, so we don't do the right things. But now, in the day of information, in the information age, you can go Google stuff. Like, the information is out there, people. Go get it. We brought Jamal on today. He is an excellent resource. So you go to his sites, the information that you get is going to be legit information. You don't have to worry about it. And he has information on there where I'm sure you can reach out to him and contact him directly, and you can
Yes.
work with him and get yourself together, man, because your life insurance is definitely important and your credit is important. Because
Get
I
your
ain't
credit
co-signing
straight,
for you.
man.
I am not
Right.
co-signing for you.
No,
Nobody.
I'm sorry. I ain't co-signing. The most
Right.
I'll do is add my son onto a couple credit cards so his score can be high. But other than that, yeah, I ain't putting my name on there for
Yeah,
you. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
You got to.
I
Yeah.
can't do it. I can't
All
do
right,
it. You
Benji,
might
let the people.
default and leave a brother hanging, and I don't trust niggas like that. So I mean,
All right, all right, Benji, let the people know something, man, before we get up out of here. Just
man, again, Jamal, man, appreciate you coming on, man. Look forward to hopefully some people hitting you up and getting that information. But man, another dope show, man. Another dope show. Y'all can find me, Benji Banks. I ain't hard to find. My page is open. You can come, clown, laugh, do whatever you want to do. If I block you, whatever. You can find me on IG, BRB4701. Of course, on there, you pretty much see all of my wine products and things of that nature. So if you're interested in wine for your events, for your brunch, for your spa, all of those types of things, I can get that for you. So just go check me out. DM me if you need. We can always make something happen.
All right, all right. So y'all already know y'all can catch me at Big Ken's Comedy on IG, Big Ken's Comedy on Twitter, Big Ken's Comedy on Facebook. You can also look me up at Kenneth Boston on Facebook. And as I say always, I do vet my friend requests, and you might end up in the people you may know column because I don't accept all requests, especially if you're selling something and I don't want to buy it. I will go through your page.
You like it?
Um, y'all already know y'all can follow the Fire Session on all platforms. Just go to any platform, Twitter, IG, Facebook, YouTube, and search for the Fire Session Podcast. And all of the videos are out there. You can also tune in live on Tuesdays when we do the shows. At this point, this is nearing the holiday time, so we usually go on a little break.
Yeah.
But stay tuned. If you go to the Fire Session pages and follow them, we will have special episodes that will be popping up. And if y'all saw the episode last week where
Yeah.
me and Angie just freestyled and we had fun, a lot of people seem to enjoy that joint. So we got a couple more of
Gotta
those
run it back.
coming through the holiday season. So make sure you tune in so you don't miss those. And we will have some great information and some great laughs still coming your way. We're also getting prepared for season 4.
Yes.
Season 4 will be starting in 2022, January. So we're also booking guests. We've already got people lined up. So if you're interested in being on the show, or you know somebody interesting, or you have an interesting topic that you would like to see discussed, hit us up, let us know so we can get prepared for that, because 22 is going to be a big year. We're coming back with a lot of new stuff. So
Yeah.
y'all just
And listen, people, if you ain't good on camera, listen, we just gonna throw this out there. If you stutter, if you're Moses and you can't really conversate, if you can't handle these basic questions, don't be all up in the inbox trying to get on the show.
yeah.
You got to be able to express yourself and put yourself out there and put your product out there and sell yourself. This is what we're doing. So please don't get on here with no stuttering issues.
Right.
We can't. I'm sorry. We can't.
Hey, you know what? Me and Benji be on the same page. We had this conversation, but yep, it's a lot of people that hit me up, no doubt, that want to be on the show. And this looks easy, people, but I'm telling you, I'm here to tell you, it's not. Me and Benji were talking before the show. We've been doing. Benji's been on the show for a little while, but I've been doing this show for almost a year and a half now. So this is season 3. But this is probably, I think I calculated, this is almost like the 70th episode.
Right.
We're in the 70s. So we've been doing this for a while. Y'all can go back to the page and look at some of the some of the first videos that we did, at the beginning. It's a little struggle, but we got better and we improved. But we're also all about helping people.
Right.
So if you actually have a legit, want to be on a podcast and you never done it before and you got a little skill, hit us up. We're properly vetted, and then we can get you on the air with us, because I mean, we don't want to waste people's time. Like Jamal came on, gave us a ton of information today.
Right.
That's what we want. We want you to come on and be beneficial. You know what I'm saying? So, just let us know. But y'all, we ain't gonna hold y'all up. We're gonna let y'all rock. Y'all got a rest of the week ahead of you. Hopefully you do something productive. You got the information. Go fix your credit score. And if you don't have life insurance, go take care of that tomorrow, because I'm telling you, if something happened to you, I'm not giving your mama or anybody else in your family any money.
You better hit Jamal up. Hit Jamal up.
Yeah, I'll come to your funeral. I will come to your funeral. I don't want to come to nobody's funeral and they passing the plate either. So I don't want to see that type of stuff going on.
Grieve and go, man. Grieve and go.
Yeah. But seriously, again, we appreciate you, Jamal, for coming on and giving us the information. Y'all go check his page out. Of course, go check my guy Benji Banks, the man, the brand out, and y'all holler at us. Y'all, we're gonna be in touch, but go follow the pages so y'all can keep up with it. And y'all have a great week. Y'all already know what it is, the Fire Session Podcast. Peace.
Deuces.
Peace.